welcome to another episode of Just 5 Minutes. This time around, actually, we're taking a little bit of a different tack, just in case there's people out there thinking I'm just all Microsoft. It happens to be the mainstay of what I do on a day-to-day basis, but yeah, for this episode, we're having a look at WordPress. So, WordPress being obviously built on PHP MySQL. Look, I'm not a PHP person. I'm not a massive fan, although I have seen in recent years, when you think of Laravel for the sort of MVC side, I'm sure that I'm not alone in saying that it's come a long way. But again, my core competency is not PHP. So what I was surprised to find is when I've been building sort of WordPress plugins, it's okay, because a lot of stuff I've been doing is building with JavaScript, jQuery, that a lot of people who build plugins do. There's sort of minimal PHP work involved there. However, building something more substantial like themes in WordPress, generally, and I'm sure there's lots of solutions out there, but generally means you're working with PHP, it's interpolated there in PHP with HTML, and you're rendering out bits of HTML in PHP, and I don't know, gives me the heebie-jeebies. But I came across recently something called Timber. Okay, literally Timber, Timber, and something called Twig. Now, I think the Twig side is a templating engine that is, I believe, synonymous with PHP. It's not exclusive, I don't believe, but it is a templating engine, just like if you've used any templating engines in Angular, Vue, React for that matter, or even going back, the old sort of mustache handlebars or something, templating. So the idea is that gives you, and again, just to go through the Microsoft side of things, if you've got Razor pages, it's similar to that in some ways, I suppose. Either way, it's a templating engine. It separates, you've got nice clean HTML with interpolated, excuse me, sort of fields and templating items, and it can do iterations for next and all of that sort of stuff. So that's a bit of a ramble intro, to be honest, but what Timber does is sort of give you the, I don't know, I call it the bridge really. It's basically saying you can create WordPress themes faster with more sustainable code. With Timber, you basically write the HTML with the Twig templating engine that I've just mentioned, but Timber sort of, I suppose, again, the way I'm feeling is it's literally a bridge between PHP. You still have a little bit of PHP there, but it's mostly to get things like the page context and posts and things like that, but it's usually a few lines of code that grabs whatever it is that you need to grab, and it becomes the bridge across, for the templating engine. So the point being, that I can see, certainly, is the fact that it gives you more of an MVC, a model view controller type environment. And so far, from what I've been, my minimal playing with this, is that it's really quite a nice joy to build more substantial sort of themes for WordPress. So it still works with all the plugins, even works with things like the Gutenberg sort of page builder that differs from the old classic sort of editor that WordPress had. So there's lots of things that I can see that are a bonus. It doesn't rule out building themes traditionally with PHP, but for me personally, when I can literally focus on just the HTML and CSS or SAS or whatever it is that you're using, wow, it makes WordPress a joy. It really does. So I've got some links to the bottom. There's a sort of welcome page and a link to their GitHub repository. And I should note actually that it was actually an agency, I believe, that first built Timber. So they've got some donation details there, which I think is for me personally is worthy. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out if you're doing anything with building theme related sort of stuff with WordPress. So there we go for this week. Okay, we'll chat to you next time.